Hi guys, and a very warm welcome in today's video in which I will share with you what are the things that none of the YouTubers, none of the cabin crew consultants have actually shared it with you, the truth, how it is to be a cabin crew and how it feels to wear the uniform. That is the main reason why I wore my uniform today, in order to refill and revive in myself those feelings when I was wearing it. This was not the uniform which I wore it with which I left the company, as this is the uniform that in Qatar Airways is worn by the F1 and F2 crew members. Those are the crew members working in economy class and in business and first class. I left Qatar Airways wearing the gray uniform, and very soon I'm also going to be shooting a video with my gray uniform. Stay tuned, and you also might want to click the subscribe button. The reason why I wear the burgundy uniform is that when you become a cabin crew, let's say for Qatar Airways or for Emirates Airlines or for whatever airline you're going to start with flying, you will start most probably with the job role of a cabin crew in economy class. And as your career progresses, you most likely are gonna reach or if you reach the leadership position and become a supervisor, maybe, this depends on the airline, you will change the color of your uniform. My name is Julia George, and as I have said, I flew for Qatar Airways for 10 years. I have left as a cabin service director. I'm currently studying Aviation Management Master Program in Germany, and I'm very soon about to start working in the aviation industry over here in Germany. I'm about also to complete my Aviation Management Master Studies, and I do believe that my YouTube channel is your social media learning platform where you want to be engaged in if you want to learn how to become a cabin crew. But if you are already a cabin crew, you definitely are going to get ideas from me on how to sustain in the aviation industry, just the way I did. But in today's video, as I have mentioned at the beginning, I will talk to you about what is the truth actually beside or behind the cabin crew uniform, what are all the feelings that you're going to be most probably living and how you will feel. And mainly at the end of this video, you should be asking yourself the biggest question: am I capable to be a cabin crew for whatever airline I'm applying for? So ex-cabin crew, current cabin crew, we are all united in one very important feeling that we all have been engaged in, and that is the happiness that we get when we reach the final stage and when we become cabin crew for whatever airline we're applying for. And if you're a candidate, you're wanting that so much at this very moment as I'm talking to you, because I know I felt the same as you. But the reality, ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely not like that. You will be very much excited and you will be very much happily waiting to wear the uniform of the airline that you're gonna apply for and the training that you're gonna have. But once you wear the uniform, that excitement is more likely to disappear if you don't pay attention to all the things that I'm gonna share with you in today's video. This is the reality. That is how the cabin crew job actually is in every airline in the world, and you need to be actually ready to engage yourself in that job. The excitement starts with you joining the airline and with you starting the training, where you will have most probably amazing batch of people that you're going to be engaged in daily, when you will be studying all those drills, all those standards and procedures, and all those manuals. Actually, here is the manual of Qatar Airways that I have behind me, and you will be most likely enjoying the process. Once you wear the uniform, another chapter of excitement starts in your life, and that is meeting new people on your daily flights. And the most exciting thing is actually visiting the destinations that you have been dreaming of. And before thinking of all those things, I just would like you to think for a moment. Do you know how a flight looks like? One flight with, I wouldn't say bunch of people, but with a lot of people from different nationalities, with your colleagues from different nationalities, leaves or gives or creates a huge stress level in your life. The first thing when I talk about stress level is, were you accepted as part of the team? Sometimes, not all the time, I have to say this, but sometimes your team members or your cabin crew will simply not like your presence, and you will be questioning yourself, what's wrong with me. The self-awareness is a part that we're not all mastered in, if you understand what I mean. So in those moments, there will be a lot of disappointments. We all have different ways of dealing when it comes to rejections. Myself, for instance, I would do everything to prove that that person is wrong if somebody doesn't like me. I would look for the reason, and I would definitely trying to correct myself on what was the thing I have been misunderstood or I have not been liked about. But for many also, there will be the fighter attitude in which, why you don't like me? I'm gonna fight you back and things like that. Ladies and gentlemen, working with people from different nationality definitely is one way in which you're going to be improving your cultural intelligence on a daily basis. But it is also a challenge in terms of future conflict that might arise. You might find yourself in a position where you would have a conflict and you do not have an experience on how to deal with that conflict. And a different way or a different side of your personality will be born, and many times, believe me, you won't be able to actually understand yourself, and you will find yourself in new situations not knowing how to react. Don't worry, that is completely normal. The one thing that can help you in those tension situation or in all those challenges is taking a pause, taking a moment, and do not hesitate to ask for help from your colleagues when you don't know something. When you are afraid, you're not alone. I've spoken about some of the crew members actually not liking you or not liking me, but that doesn't mean that the entire set of crew will not like you, unless you are doing everything the other way around and you're just annoying people. You need to understand that working in a team requires you, me, anyone working in a team to listen to your team, to first of all be there for your team, to love your team. You need to be a teamwork player in order to fit yourself in that environment. And very often we are reading that on the non-negotiable rules and regulations when the airlines are publishing their vacancies, that they're looking for team-oriented people. Nevertheless, think about the fact, what if your team doesn't like you? How are you going to handle the team? And also questions like this, questions in which how do you deal when it comes to stressful situations, are something that I have answered on my YouTube channel. You have a separate playlist over here in which you are having an option to check and see more than 200 questions that the recruiters might ask you. And I also give you the reason, it was more than a year ago, in which I have explained to you why the recruiters are asking you those questions. You might want to jump and have a look. When you will be flying as a cabin crew, you also gonna create your own circle of friends. Irrespective that is going to be Abu Dhabi, Dubai or Qatar, you will be having a kind of social life, unless you're a totally antisocial person and you would stay in your room and you're just gonna wait for your roster to come out, which doesn't happen very often. Most of the cabin crew that I know and that I have met, and that is in fact still happening, and I follow a lot of crew on social media, you as well, many of you are also following the current cabin crew on social media, you are able to see that they are having a social life, either with some cabin crew that they're friends with from their own nationality, their flatmates, friends that they have met from outside the company, and things like that. Nevertheless, creating your social life would also, I wouldn't say require you, but you will also be a lot of times tempted to be on certain events such as concerts. You would want to go out, just like me, just like you. Everyone wants to have that, that vent out time with friends, laugh and forget about flying. But ladies and gentlemen, the truth is that most of the time on such things, you're just simply not going to be free. Let's say a friend of yours is organizing a birthday party, but you are on your minimum rest and you're having a flight to Kuwait. Now, in this case, you need to understand that the curfew that, let's say in this case, Qatar Airways has, which is 12 hours prior to your flight, at least at the time when I was a cabin crew, 12 hours prior to my reporting time, I supposed to be in my accommodation and I supposed to be resting. And that was not a problem for me. Many times I have shared that on my social media networks that I was actually enjoying being well rested for my flights. Either I would sleep or I would just watch a movie. If it's a short haul flight, my way of resting or all of us, we have a different way how we are resting. Nevertheless, we're supposed to be well rested before the flight. Now, if you're somebody who cannot be controlled, I have to highlight this. If you're somebody that not even your parents have told you that, you cannot go out, this is a part of your flying career, if you work for Qatar Airways, that most probably is going to be bothering you. And another thing which I would like to highlight and share is that when I joined the Qatar Airways back in 2009, I did not meet these rules and regulations, these famous rules and regulations, but I was easily coping with it as they were progressing. And I would not go into this video into the reasons why these rules and regulations are there, but this is like this. I was just going to discuss, are you guys able to cope with the rules and regulations? Because most of the time, the cabin crew, when they join the airline, in fact, these rules and regulations are bothering them so much at a point they forget that they exist, and they just don't follow them. And then when they get caught or when they get terminated, then the company is like this, the company is like that. All of you, and including myself, we have been recruited on our own will. We have reached the destination or we have started flying, and if you don't like it or if I don't like it, we have a legitimate right to actually resign, to actually leave the company, because you're not forced to work for that company. The rule of not consuming alcohol is something that applies not only to airlines, not only to Qatar Airways, but also to hospitals and to most likely to all the organizations in the world. The other rule which I would mention in this video, I don't want this video to sound like the rules and regulations, but I just would like you to know is that you're supposed to be living with your flatmate, which is the same sex as you. It's female with female, male with male. And also the regulations when it comes to visitors. You cannot, at least the time, I'm talking about the time when I was a cabin crew, you can have visitors from 7 in the morning until 22 or 10 p.m. in the evening, and then your visitors must leave. Now, if you're somebody who wants to make a party in your flat and nobody can tell you that you cannot have friends, you need to think twice whether you're supposed to become a cabin crew, let's say for Qatar Airways. And ladies and gentlemen, when you are researching the rules and regulations, please bear in mind that every airline has their own rules and regulations that they're particular about. And we're not going to discuss why Qatar Airways is like this, why in Lufthansa this does not exist. If you would like to discuss these things and perhaps you would like to make a research on the topic, there will be a lot of people who will be happily giving the data to you. Then you will write your research, and you're more than welcome to send the research to the airline that you're going to be working the research, or you're going to be taking the research for. Nevertheless, these are the things that I'm sharing with you in order for you to understand that wearing the uniform for whatever airline you're going to be choosing to apply for comes with a lot of responsibility and a lot of give-ups. When we talk about the give-ups, here comes your birthday, the birthday of your loved ones. Here comes a lot of events that you might not, most probably you're not going to be able to attend. Another question that I receive very often on my social media platforms is, can you study when you are a cabin crew? Whatever you decide to do with your free time, and your free time is not a lot, you would have to be managing at your own. No airline in the world, unless your contract is like that, because for instance, Wizz Air has a program in which their cabin crew can study to be pilots. In this case, Qatar Airways or Emirates or Etihad, I do not know that they have such a program. So unless it is, it's not written in your contract, you actually have to understand that you are the one who's going to be managing your own life and what are the things that you will be doing in your free time. If you decide to be studying, then most probably your social life is not going to be as rich as it was when I was a cabin crew, let's say, because I was not studying when I was a cabin crew. Rather, I was having my social life, and I was, of course, being up to date with all the latest updates in my airline as I was progressing in my career, as I have mentioned in one of my videos, quite fast. So I was trying to learn on a daily basis how I can improve my in-flight services when it comes to safety, and also knowing all the standards and procedures to guide and to coach my crew was an imperative to actually be a successful supervisor in my role once I have started. We come to one important point which I do not know that somebody has discussed it, and it's called the appearance, the uniform, the grooming standards of the airline. Again, every airline has their own grooming standards, so Qatar Airways as well, and that is the reason why I wear the uniform today. One thing that you're going to be studying and you're going to learn about is about the grooming standards once you become a cabin crew. Many of you as a candidate, you're rushing to learn about the grooming standards before you become a cabin crew, and that is great. I congratulate you. But also at the same time, I want to tell you is that do not get surprised if somebody with a red hair, I'm talking about a colored red hair or a colored blonde hair, becomes a cabin crew, and you very well know that you cannot be a cabin crew with this hair color in Qatar Airways, because it's all about the skills when you go on that open day. And when you go on that open day, it's all about your work experience, your communication skills, your personality, and everything that you know and you have learned in life. Many people have that X factor, as we would say. They're just likable no matter what. And for instance, some of you might have been, dressed up from head to toes with all the Qatar Airways grooming standards, and you did not get the job. Becoming a cabin crew, it's not about you learning the grooming standards. Becoming a cabin crew, it's about your work experience and your key skills. These are the two things which you're supposed to be, paying attention to. Now, those that are highlighting, that are maintaining the grooming standards as per the Qatar Airways or Emirates or Etihad grooming standards, as well have the work experience and the key skills, those are the candidates which are passing the recruitment process very easily. For them, becoming a cabin crew was just a piece of cake. From this point of view, I can say that was the reason, that was actually the case with me. I did not follow the Qatar Airways grooming standards at that time. I followed my standards, but my standards of my personal grooming, to be very honest, are very close to the standards of Qatar Airways. Why I'm saying this? Many candidates are actually asking me, do I have to go shaved? Definitely you would have to be shaved because it's part of your hygiene. Should I wear a red lipstick? By nature, when I go out or when I'm dressed, in a suit or something, I'm wearing a red lipstick if the occasion dictates. Do I have to wear a makeup? By nature, I'm a person who wears makeup. I love makeup. So this is why I'm saying Qatar Airways standards were not strange to me, but to many candidates, they are strange. So if you're a person that doesn't like makeup, makeup for you is a hassle. If you're a person that doesn't like to have your nails manicured, if you're somebody who don't like when people are telling you can't have a blonde hair if you're not naturally blonde, you can't have a red hair, you cannot have blue eyeshadow because it's not allowed when it comes to your uniform, when it comes to the color standards, then definitely think about becoming a cabin crew, because these are the things that you would have to, deal and follow. They're not the standards and procedures, or the grooming standards and procedures for all the airlines. They're not there to make your life miserable. Be very, very sure in that. The grooming standards are there to make that standardized way of uniform, of colors, of makeup, so that I wouldn't say that all the cabin crew will look the same, but they would all have a sort of decorum in which they're supposed to be behaving. And that is nothing personal against you as a crew or against you as a future cabin crew. It's just the way the airline has designed their own standards. When it comes to service, the standards are there. Also, there are service standards of the airlines. And with the service standards, it's also easy that you would understand why those service standards are there. The aircraft is actually a limited space. A lot of things have to be fit in there, yet that personalized service and that items that we have on board the aircraft should be delivered to the passengers, sometimes to the crew. When I say sometimes, one of the procedures that I had or that we had in Qatar Airways was that we were doing round of drinks every 30 minutes. And some of the crew were like, yeah, why we have to do the round of drinks every 30 minutes? I'm tired. but there is a rule for you to be well rested before you go for the flight, because you would have to go and do the round of drinks after you are done with the main service every 30 minutes. So there is a fine line, that is a chain of why some things are there and what you would benefit of those things being there. Talking about the rest, being well rested, and walking up and down the aircraft during your flight, irrespective how long the flight is. And the last point, which I will mention in today's video, is the responsibility. The level of responsibility towards the things around your life, in terms towards your family, towards your job, towards your university, should be very, very high if you would like to start a successful career in the aviation industry in your role as a cabin crew. The level of responsibility brings me to build up a successful career, not only in the aviation industry, but everywhere in the world. When we do a mistake, when we do things wrong, we have to be able to, first of all, apologize, and second, to be freely, I wouldn't say freely, but to be actually not afraid to be accountable for. I have shared with you in some of my videos that I have actually broken the minimum rest of Qatar Airways twice, not because, I wanted to just go out and have fun. One reason was because I was late from a flight, and another time from a flight where I was coming privately, another time I had a no-show. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, when we make a mistake and when you have been caught, you know that you're supposed to stay in your accommodation for 12 hours. You've signed the contract. If you do not like it, do not sign the contract. Once you step into Qatar Airways, into Emirates Airlines, into Etihad, you are going to be familiarized with all the rules and regulations. You might also want to ask me, or you might also comment in this video, yeah, but they're supposed to tell us these things when we go for open day, for assessment day and final interview. And if the airline starts telling to you on the open day their policies, their rules and regulations and everything, then the open day is supposed to be lasting for 1 week. And that, I think, financially it's not possible. In the shorter period of time that they can recruit you, it's going to be the better. But don't worry, that's why you have us, the cabin crew consultants, who are going to tell you that those things are something you need to really think about, whether you're able to take them, whether you're able to actually cope with those things. As I have said, that was not a problem for me. I was there to work. I was there for the money. I was there for the career. And I knew that at a point in time when I'm going to decide to leave the company, something nice is going to be waiting for me. Deep down in myself, I knew that I'm going to leave the company for a good reason. And the best reason why I left the company was actually for me to move to Germany. I was very patiently, I wouldn't say waiting for an opportunity to arise, but I was actually working and growing. And I said, when the time comes, when I'm ready, when I would have a reason to leave, I will leave. And most probably many of the crew stories that you're going to hear are same or similar as mine. They either got married, they got children, they opened their own businesses. Some of them just, stopped flying and wanted to take some time off, and they're back flying again. Depends on the options that they had. Nevertheless, every individual reason is something that we all supposed to respect. Why we have left the company. If my colleagues have decided to come back and to, fly, I'm congratulating and I'm happy about them. The cabin crew role and the profession of a cabin crew is something I will always appreciate, and I will always, respect and have just an enormous love for my cabin crew. So we talked about also the rules and regulations. We've talked about, we've mentioned the minimum rest. You're going to be away from your loved ones. You have to be ready that you're not going to be living in your home country, and that many times, ladies and gentlemen, you're just going to be feeling very lonely. Many times, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm just bringing my situation, is that sometimes you would just gonna go and take a shower and you're just gonna be so sad because you miss your mom, your dad, your brother, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your cat, your dog, your parrot, whatever pet that you have. You're gonna be missing it so much, and you're gonna be crying. It happened to me. I have been crying, taking a shower, crying. I don't know, it's the water I'm taking a shower, it's my tears, but I've been very lonely. How did I cope when I was lonely? I would immediately take my phone, call my family, or just, call a friend that it's free, and, just gonna go out and try to, I'm not gonna say ignore. I'm first gonna identify how I feel, and I would know that I have to do something about the feeling, because if I stay and cry the entire night, I'm most probably not going to feel well. This is why we're mature, and this is why the airlines have a minimum age of 21 years. Usually your domestic airline, your airline in your country would require you to be only 18 and above. But when you are asked, or when your base is not in your own country, you need a bit more time to, just mature yourself during that period of time from 18 to 21, and to be at least 21 to understand the responsibility that has been given to you. You are going to be working in a multi-billion-dollar business. One aircraft costs a lot of money, and just taking a chance by being clubbing until 4 in the morning and going on a flight in 7 in the morning, it's just something that none of the airlines would want to have. With having all these things said, think about your personality. Think about what kind of person you are. You might also want to message me if you have any doubts on my Instagram account. That is actually the place where I'm very interactive, and I'm reading all the messages on daily basis. Also, I do have a busy lifestyle with my studies. I also work in the hospital. Very soon I'm going to be starting to work in a airport in my field, in the aviation management. Nevertheless, do not hesitate to drop a message. Subscribe for all the content that it's coming, which is part of the cabin crew job, part of the aviation topic, and I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Bye bye and have a nice day.